everyone. I am reviewing a product I picked up yesterday at the shop that is now known as Flying Tiger Copenhagen. Used to be called Tiger. Sorry, my camera's a bit grotty. Let me clean that. Kulblyanter, translating as charcoal pencils. This set cost me the princely sum of £2, so about $3 US, I guess. And I'm so sorry, I don't know what is going on with my camera right now. That's right, focus issue. Sorry, autofocus wasn't on. So you get 6 pencils, 2 soft, 2 medium, 2 hard, which have some level of colour coding on them. And these were really cheap, you know, really inexpensive to pay £2 for that many charcoal pencils, really. And Flying Tiger do sell some budget art supplies, I guess you'd call them. I reviewed some of their paints before, which I didn't think were not great, but not awful either. And I thought I'd review these and give you my first impressions of them. And I'm going to do that on my watercolour sketchbook here from Pink Pigs, because this watercolour sketchbook is more like drawing paper. I don't actually like it for watercolour, so let's test it out, and we'll test it against some old friends. Bollocks. Excuse me. Sorry, I did a card video last night, which is now online, and I didn't really tidy up. So I've got here my my pencils that I use quite often, and there are charcoal in here. Let's get equivalent pencils out. These are Derwent charcoal pencils, which come in tinted and you know, similar kinds. So all my Derwent pencils are in together because I own so few of them, they don't warrant separate jars or anything like that. And I've got, as well as tinted charcoals, I've got standard charcoals. And I don't have soft, hard and light, but I do have light, medium and dark, which is kind of the same sort of thing. It's dark. So this is a really impromptu video I wasn't actually going to make. I just happened to be, I was about to go out and I thought, you know what, I might just do that just quickly before I go. Because I can, basically. It's a really cool copper beaker. It was from a homeware store. It's for keeping toothbrushes in, but I just thought it was really cool. So Kulblyanter translates as a charcoal pencil, obviously. And this is what they look like in the box. So their sort of colour coding, if you like, is that you've got some with no colour, 2 with blue colour, 2 with red colour, 2 with no colour, and I'm going to assume that they're soft, medium, hard in that order. They are pretty blunt when they arrive. They do not look terribly good quality, but we have to test them out before we can say such things. So I'm going to make an assumption that based on the packaging that soft is the one with nothing on it, medium is the red one, and hard is the blue one, but who knows. So let's just first of all do a little wiggle with each of them. Yeah, I was right about the order. So that is indeed that is indeed how they are, and you can really feel the difference. They are palpably different when you're using them. And let's just put down the Derwent ones in the same kind of colour. I'm sorry, I'm slightly off camera there and not in great focus. There we go. So I'm going to use the Derwent in their light, medium and dark, actually. So there's Derwent light. Medium and dark. Now the first thing I notice as a difference is that the Derwent ones are pretty dusty. The Flying Tiger ones do blend, but they're not, there's no powder when you're drawing with them. So let's just try some basic blending. I've got here an old baby wipe that I'm just using as a means to cover my finger, and I'll just blend the soft ones. So this is a dry baby wipe. And I can get a reasonable blend on the soft one, and we'll just do the hard one as well. So be really careful saying hard one, it can come out terribly incorrectly. Okay, so that blends as well. And now we'll do the same with the Derwent. Obviously this is not fully controlled, I haven't put the same amount on in both places. Now the Derwent light one, almost kind of like you can rub away the pencil, whereas with the Tiger, it stays where it is. And the dark. Okay, let's try, we'll just compare the medium with the medium because they're going to be fairly similar, with a different type of blend. And we'll just do the medium from the other set. So this is the Tiger medium. Now I know I'm off the bottom of the page at the moment. I'm just laying down some colour. And I'll move the page so that we can see what I've been doing. So I've just laid down some colour here. And I thought I would find out how these kind of blend. I'm just going to take, first of all, a rough bristle brush and brush them, because that can be an interesting way to make a soft blend. And to clean the brush, you just wipe it over the paper. That's the brush I use to make mist effects with watercolour. I love that brush. It was £1. I have no idea what it's actually for, but that's what I use it for. It's really hard. So I want to try them now with a blender pen and a Gamsol pen specifically. And I have Derwent's own blender pens. I'll use the large one because that's kind of easier. And I'm also going to try using a blending pencil. Now the blender pencil is just really a white wax pencil. So we'll try that first of all with Derwent's own and see how much it will actually blend. So that basically will drag some colour. And that works actually pretty well with both of them. It actually works better, if anything, with the Tiger version. So blender pencil works. Now blender pen, this is just a Derwent blender pen. It's a pen filled with Gamsol, odourless mineral spirit. And I'm going to use this up here. And what it does is it dissolves the sort of waxy components of these types of pencils and allows you to blend out the colour. Which isn't doing a lot with either, which implies to me that there is not a lot of wax in either of these types of pencil, that these are pretty much just compressed charcoal, that they haven't got a lot of wax binders added to them, which some have got. So I'm quite pleased with how they work in that regard. Let's just try doing a really basic little, I'm using the light one now, a really basic little drawing. This is Derwent, so I'll put a little D there. We'll just do a little a box and put it into perspective with some shadow. So I'm imagining a light source that way, so the light is hitting it here. And then we've got a bit of shadow. And to emphasise that shadow, I will soften. This paper's got that sort of tractor tyre texture that you get on some cheap watercolour papers. It's meant to be watercolour paper. It's I think it's called Aurélie from Pink Pigs. It's their own brand, and it's drawing paper. This is clearly not watercolour paper at all. So that was done with the light from Derwent, and now we'll use the light from Flying Tiger and see how well we get on with it. Now, the Tiger pencils are just a standard hexagonal pencil, so easy to sharpen, and I think that the actual charcoal looks pretty dark in these, so let's try this one out. I'm going to try and draw the same. First thing I notice is that the Derwent one is more scratchy. These feel softer, so these feel like they have wax in them, but they don't blend very well, or at least the medium one didn't blend very well. This one's going to be a little bit taller because someone wasn't paying attention. This feels more reluctant to blend, which again makes me feel like it's got a lot of wax in there. It's not quite as soft, but remembering that the Derwent one was soft, light and dark, not soft, light and hard, not soft, white, not, oh, you know what I mean. So this feels a lot harder in many ways, but I'm going to try blending it with Gamsol a second time. In fact, I'll do 3 blends and we'll see how that goes. So, you know, you can draw with them. They're all right. I don't have any problems with them. You can shade quite soft and it will blend. And in fact, it blends really well. So, 2 nice images there. I'm not disappointed with that at all. I've just done 3 spots here and I'm just going to try 3 types of blend. First blend is just the tissue, the dry tissue blend. Blends okay. I think with a finger you can get a better blend. And I'll just do an extra spot actually. I'll do it just here. So I'll do tissue, finger, pencil, Gamsol. So we remember how we did them. So this one is a Derwent blender pencil. If you've not seen these are... Hello, autofocus. Focusing on pencils is really hard because they're so thin. Derwent blender pencil, there you go. It's got a white wax. It's a white wax pencil basically. It doesn't really have any pigment in it, and you can use it to just soften because it's got some abrasive qualities and some of the same kind of wax that's found in the original pencils, and the idea is that that will help move it around, and you can do more of a controlled blend with it. You can get it, if I blend this with my finger I can't make it follow a shape, but with the blender pencil you can blend a specific shape. So I've ended up with something that looks a little bit like a spooky eye, I suppose. There's the pupil, and there's the rest of it. So you can blend that really easily, and again that kind of implies there's actually wax in here that I hadn't found before. I'm just going to try using the Derwent blender pen small version. I did speak to Derwent a while ago and they told me that the large one and the small one are chemically the same. The only difference is the material the nibs are made of is slightly different, and that may account for why you sometimes get a different result with them. And I do always actually find that one of them will blend differently to the other. So let's try blending that out now. Okay, so the small tip, which I think is more abrasive, blends that really well actually, so we can get a really good blend with that. and let's just try to make a point. Let's try doing that with the Derwent just here. So it blends, and we'll try doing it with the Tiger over here, so that blends as well. So actually, yes, the blender pen does work. It's just the large blender pen's nib wasn't quite abrasive enough. The other pencil that I might just try, because hey, I can, is the Derwent Burnisher pencil, which is a vaguely similar idea, which is this one. Comes in a set with the blender pencil, and this is to go kind of over it to smooth out and burnish the colour. So let's do that, why not? And let's try that over here where the light is. Word of warning, if you do ever use these pencils, you can't erase. So whatever you end up with is what you end up with. You can't erase what's under them. So I'm just using that to really, it rubs the charcoal into the paper and spreads a waxy layer over the top. So I wouldn't use it on the shadow, but I would use it on the box. And that gives kind of a more finished look, and we'll try it over here as well. You can see it's moving around this one a bit more. It's picking up charcoal and moving it, which is fine, you know, that's what we want. Which is why you always use these in the dark to light kind of way. But you can see if I just go across the middle there, I think you can see this area looks kind of flatter. So it kind of tidies up that blending and really kind of pushes it into the paper, which leaves an overall quite interesting effect. So whether you blend over them or whether you burnish over them, you still get a nice effect. So as far as I'm concerned, these pencils from Tiger are as good as the Derwent ones in many ways. They're a different consistency, they're harder, but they are far cheaper. Now, you'd be lucky to get a set of the Derwent ones economically. They are expensive. I think I've seen them in packs of 6 for £3, very rarely. The tinted versions of the Derwent ones are lovely, of course, as well, and they're worth buying when they're on offer. But if you just want a really good basic set of charcoal pencils, and you're just sort of starting out with drawing, and you just want a couple of different consistencies of charcoal, you could do a lot worse than the Kulblyanter set from Flying Tiger. So if you have a Flying Tiger store nearby, and sadly I know many of my audience are based in the USA, and there's only a couple of Flying Tiger stores. They're in New York City. The rest of the world used to call them Tiger. They are now worldwide known as Flying Tiger Copenhagen. They've been renamed, and you can't buy online. You can only buy in their stores. They change their stock frequently, so it may be that these are in there now and they won't appear again for another 6 months to a year. But if you see the Kulblyanter set in there, I highly recommend them if you just want a really straightforward set of charcoals. There was nothing in here that was any worse or any better than the Derwent ones, and the main difference is the price. These were really economical. So these work out at like 30p per pencil roughly, and they're going to last you a good while. They're pretty hard. They're not going to wear out. What I didn't test in this video was how well they sharpen, because these don't need sharpening and I don't want to waste them. But they're there, so do give them a try. I think they're great value, and I think you could do a lot worse than the Kulblyanter charcoal pencils from Flying Tiger Copenhagen. Thank you very much, and goodbye.